Well, thank you. First of all, I just want to thank you for having me at this festival. It's such an honor. I decided to make this song because, I grew up in this town that you see in the film, and I had to leave when I was 16 because of political turmoil, and I had not been back for such a long time. And it was it felt like quite a violent uprooting in a way, because we had to leave within a couple of days, and it was just like a bit chaotic. And so, naturally, my mind is always like looking back, at those memories and trying to make sense out of everything. So when I first was able to go back, I wanted to reconnect with my family, my grandmother, my friends that I hadn't seen for a long time. But so in going back, I mean, that was at the beginning, that was my intention. But once I was there, I realized, all of the changes that had happened. And one of the big changes in the way that these changes that were not quite apparent at the beginning, but visually the way it manifests is that when I drove to this town from the main city, all I could see was chats. I mean, I grew up with chats around me, but it was just quite like visually very shocking, Another thing was like driving back, I wanted to stop by the lake, to just take it in and take photos with the lake, and the lake was gone. So I don't know, there were a lot of things on the landscape that were quite different. And so I had so many questions. I had so many questions that I started to ask, to ask my friends, my family members, just like whoever, just to try to understand more. And so that's how it started. That's what prompted me, and especially when I started to hear how a lot of our youth, like very, very young, we were losing, through the borders. People were leaving. There was like huge, of course, I learned that one of the biggest driving forces to the commodification of the plant, and one thing that drove it to become a single crop economy also was the huge unemployment. And also the climate changes. The farmer was no longer to sustain that, the cultivation of coffee, for example. That was one of the biggest and most important crops in the area. The Harar coffee, the Harar Arabica coffee that grew in that area was very, very well known and very loved. But they no longer could sustain that. So a lot of them were turning into chats, which you could harvest pretty much almost 4 times a year with a lot less maintenance. For a lot of them, it's a way to, as they say, kill time, because time is what holds that incredible amount of frustration when you're very young and there's not a lot of opportunities or employment or ways to sort of, advance yourself, transform yourself, or, make a livelihood in a way. But so what happens when you chew is that it has like different stages. The beginning, they call it harara, and harara is like the time when you're having the cravings, So it's a lot of agitation time, like around noon. Everybody's at the market trying to get their tats, it's like, and there's a lot of like screaming and a lot of commotion going on because people are trying to get their fix, So around 1 p.m., most people have gone inside their homes. So, the city is quite quiet because there's nobody around. Everybody is inside their home, where everybody is, everybody's chewing. And so, at the beginning, when you start chewing, there's like an euphoric state. There's a lot of euphoria in a way where people start discussing politics, religion, economy, love, anything that happened during the day. And this is a very social gathering. They call it barcha. That is the gathering to chew.
And that's where people get together every single day. So like, for example, if you were there and most people, they have that one place that they go to every single day, and they will wait for you with three, most of them have three, how do you call it? Three pillows. So your place is going to be there with your three pillows waiting for you, you know? So it's like it's a social, you know, gathering. But so if you go around like 1 or 2, everybody's like, there's a lot of commotion. But then if you go there to the same place around 4 p.m., then it's just dead silent. Why? Because then, you know, that euphoric state ends, and then people go into an introspection. That's when the Mekana finally sets in. They say it's a place where you liberate yourself in a way. You know, you liberate. It's almost like a lucid dreaming. You're liberated from what they call like the tyranny of time. You know.
Well, the most rewarding was to meet all the people, to connect with all the people, to really have our experiences. It was live. That was the huge reward, truly. You know, as we were making the film, that was the biggest reward.
You know, the making of the film was the reward. That and taking that path was the reward. I have to say, you know, this spring, as challenging as it was to make this film, it was such to me, it was such a gift. You know, it set me on a path that I actually loved. It set me on a path of constantly to be an eternal student. You know, I am a student of cinematography. I'm a student of all of this, of cinema per se. And being very in love with it. This film is what gave me that opportunity in a way. So, yeah, I mean, it's such a gift to me.